My name is Philip Williams. I'm a Master Sergeant in the Belgian Army, and I'm a guide at the Bastogne Barracks and doing tours with people that come to visit us. My son's 10 years old now, and he has since 2 or 3 years he has his M42 jumpsuit. And when I go to Bastogne to do the guiding tours, I try to get him with me as much as possible. And I think he will be even harder in that than I am yet, because once in a while when I'm doing a tour, then he comes to me and says, "Pop, you forgot to tell the story about that lieutenant, or you forgot to tell that story about Vince Speranza, and a veteran of the 501. And so I will pass on all the information that I have, but now he's getting close to what I know already at 10 years old. And I believe that in a couple of years he might do the tours himself. So yes, it's passing on to the other generations. My grandfather Joseph was in the resistance in World War II. He was an officer in the Belgian Army prior to World War II, and then he went into the underground during the war. He helped 2 air crews that were shot down above Holland to escape through the escape lines. Unfortunately, I never knew my grandfather because he died in 1968, but I grew up with all those kind of stories. Also, my grandmother told a lot about those years of occupation, what they endured with the Germans, and also with the liberation. It was that part of the country that was liberated by Canadians and Polish military. And she told a lot of stories about the liberation days in September 1944. Because of those stories that my family told and the pictures I've seen from World War II, I was very interested about the history about World War II. So when I entered into the army, I tried to collect as much information about World War II that I could receive on the military part of the war, but also on the human side of the war. So on a certain amount of time, I think it was in 2003, I put a message up on the internet that I was looking for an American soldier that was in Bastogne, because Bastogne interested me, the Screaming Eagles holding the town, and I wanted to know more about it firsthand. And there was a person from North Carolina, Greenville, his name was Bill Tingen, who responded. And we talked first about fishing and hunting and all that kind of stuff, but not merely about the war, but that came later. And at a certain time I was laughing because his wife said, "He tells you more about World War II to you, a person in Europe, than to myself and to the family." But I said it's normal, because those stories are ugly most of the time, and he wants to keep you safe, and he don't want to talk about it. But he told a lot to me. I went to visit him a couple of times in North Carolina, and we became such good friends that he called me son, and I called him Pop. I told him that he was the first American soldier that I shook hands with, and that was very important to me, because since I was a kid, I wanted to shake hands with an American soldier and say, "Thank you for my freedom." And Bill's son called the newspaper. They did an interview, and I was on the head page. A Belgian guy says thank you to his American rescuer.